Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. In previous lecture I just completed the chapter basics. There are some miscellaneous topics that is there which is not actually from basics, but we need to know that. I said that whenever needed I will review some concepts from signals and systems, and I will review some concepts from basically Laplace transform. So here I am going to start a basics of signals and systems. So systems we don't need in a broader way, but we need a fair understanding of signals. What is signal is, okay. So what is signal? The first question is, what is a signal? A signal is mathematically a function. It can be represented by some mathematical function, and there will be some obviously any function will be having some independent variable. In case of our study, signal will mainly consist of independent variable as time. Okay, so a mathematical function ft will be called as signal, and this will what is the criteria of any mathematical function to be signal is it should convey some information. Signal is a mathematical function that will convey some information, or that will carry some information. So uh, what are different types of signals present in there? There are actually, ideally speaking, infinitely many types of signals, because there can be any signal. It can be a step, or it can be an impulse, it can be a ramp, some signals like defined in that way, or it can also be some signal which cannot be defined mathematically, but there is some mathematical functions, and it is a lot more harder for us to actually determine the mathematical function. This that means it is actually truly random in nature. So signals can be this. So why we need signals in case of control system? Look, whenever control system, any system, let's say any system of transfer function, let's say g, is designed by you, which is to be used in a control loop. Now how this g will responds to any input, you don't know, because you cannot actually replicate the environment of the system. Like it is working in in an environment. So what is the main what is the properties of this environment where it will trying to work, how, what kind of disturbance or what kind of signals it will encounter, you don't know from a design perspective. So you don't know how this system is going to respond. So you will give some standard signal as input, and you will check the response of that system. You will check that output based on some standard signal. Let's say you are giving some signal S1 and you are getting some response R1. You are giving some signal S2 and getting some response R2, and so on, S3, R3. Now you are analyzing, okay, if I have environment or I have disturbance whose nature is more like signal S1, then I will get response not exactly as R1 but something like R1. Or if our disturbance is more like S2, then I will get something like R2. So you can analyze this system using this signal. So disturbance, as I said, signal can be random, and disturbance is itself a random signal. Disturbance can be anything. It can be high frequency noise, or it can be low frequency disturbances. So we cannot model disturbance. There is a separate there are separate engineers that will actually, their work will be modeling disturbances based on the environment and based on the response any system gives working in this environment. But from control engineering perspective, if you are at the design process, you don't know what disturbance can be there. So there are some standard signals. Using those standard signal, you will just judge the system that if this kind of signal is the disturbance, if disturbance signal is, let's say this is impulse, let's say this is impulse. I will discuss what is impulse, what is step just a bit later. Let us call it a impulse signal, let us call it a step signal. So if I give impulse and then I will get some response, so I can understand then if this system encounter a disturbance which is more like impulse signal, then the disturbance cannot be a perfect impulse, but it can have some property like impulse. So in that case, I can determine with that disturbance or with that input what can be the output of the system, or what will be the nature of the output of the system. If let us say the input change is a step change, let us say I have in a refrigerator I have I have let us say an object of at 0 degree centigrade. Okay. Now suddenly there I have put and let us say the ambient temperature is 30 degree centigrade. Uh, okay. Now I have a system, and suddenly I have system at 30 degree centigrade. Suddenly I take this system and put it in the refrigerator. So the temperature suddenly drops from 30 degree centigrade to 0 degree centigrade. Now based on this ambient this is the room temperature and this is the temperature inside the refrigerator. So if my system is designed to work inside the refrigerator or outside the refrigerator, both it can work, but in this case this sudden change 30 degree to 0 degree will be considered as a sudden change in the disturbance. That means a sudden disturbance occurred in this system. So this kind of change will be called as a step change. Why it will be called as a step change, I will discuss a bit later, but this kind of change is called as a step change. So if this kind of change happens, how my system G will respond, that can be analyzed using, if I can give any step signal to the system and I can get the response, then I will understand, okay, if for this step signal my system response is becoming R2. So if this kind of step changes occurred in the for the system, then something like this R2 will happen to the system. Okay, that's why we use some standard signals. So what are the standard signal in control system? We often discuss mainly three elementary signals. Okay, let me write it as elementary signals. Elementary signals. This is impulse signals, step signal. There are other signal like ramp signal, parabolic signal, but okay, let me write down ramp signal, parabolic signal, exponential signal, sinusoidal signal. There are a lot more example for signals, but in case of control system we often encounter this kind of response. This is a response due to impulse signal, okay, response due to step signal, and response due to sinusoidal signal. These main three types of signals is a must in control system. What will it give? Impulse response, impulse signal. Okay, let me give one more thing. Let me tell you, if I have a G system and I am giving it a impulse signal, then I will get the response named as impulse response. The name of the response will be named after the basically signals. Okay, if I give step signal to a system, then I will get step response. If I give ramp signal, then I will get ramp response. And if I give let us say sinusoidal signal, then that will be not called as sinusoidal response, but it will be called as frequency response, because sinusoidal, the main distinguish, okay, ft is equal to sine of omega t. So based on this signal, there will be some output. This is a signal, a mathematical function. Okay, there will be some amplitude. So what can look, t is the independent variable, so I cannot modify t. T will be modified by itself. T is the independent. So what is dependent here? Omega, I can change omega, I can change a. So if I change a from, let's say, a to, I am changing it b sine omega t plus phi, let's say, okay, omega, let's say it is omega 1 and omega 2. So I can change the phase of the system, I can change, actually phase, I cannot change the phase either, okay, but I can delay the system, delay the signal. That means let's say this, let's say the time is ticking from 1 2 3, this like this. So I was expected to start the signals, the sinusoidal signal, at t equals to 0 second, but I am starting it at t equals to 3 seconds. So I am delaying the signal. So that delay can be used as a phase response, but in control system that is not actually, that will not affect the system. Okay, so what will affect is, because in control system, in our study we actually talk about LTI system, okay, linear time invariant system. So what is linear system? A linear system will be, if my output is, if my input is scaled to a value, output will also be scaled. That means if instead of a sin omega t, I give 2a sin omega t, for let's say a sin omega t, I am getting the output as gt, okay, some function gt. Now if I give 2a sin omega t, then I will give, I will get 2 gt. So changing amplitude will not matter so much, it is just a multiplying factor like that. But if I change this omega t as, let's say, omega 2t, then gt will be totally discarded and there will be some function phi t. This is, there will be some another function. So based on the frequency, if I can change the amplitude, then there will be nothing much, the nature will not be changed. But if I can change the frequency of the sinusoidal signal, then the system response will change majorly. That's why this sinusoidal signal is given to the system to analyze at what frequency how the system is responding. That's why this whenever this sinusoidal signal is given to the input of the system, we call it frequency response. Now I was discussing about LTI system. What is LTI system? So linear time invariant. So what is time invariant system? Time invariant system means the system does not depend on time. That means it's not like that, it's not like that the output response of the system will not have time in its function. It will have, but let's say I have a system G, I am giving input as ft and getting output as gt. Today at this time, let's say it is 6 p.m. 6 p.m. At 6 p.m. I am giving it ft as input and getting gt as output. Now let's say I am analyzing this system again at, let's say, 8 p.m. Now again I am giving ft. The system will not get will not give any other output. It will give only gt. So what input I am applying matters, but when I am applying the input doesn't matter. That's why I am saying if I delay the sinusoid, that will not affect in LTI systems because it is time invariant. With time, the output for a same input will not vary. If instead of being ft, if I give f1t, then there must be some change in the function, output function. But if I give ft as I was giving in at 6 o'clock, I am going to get the same thing. This is called LTI system. Okay. So whenever I will talk about basics of system, I will come into this portion, what is LTI system, in much more detail. But for now, just understand that delaying a system will not affect for our kind of system. If there is some system that is not time invariant, that means there is time variant system, then that will obviously affect the system. The delaying of the signal will affect the system. So now let me confine my discussion within signals. Okay. So what is signals? Signals is some mathematical function which is dependent on time. The independent variable will be time. Okay, let me tell you, always it not always true that the independent variable will be time only. It can be space also. Like like you have a picture. Okay, you have a picture. So in a computer display, how this picture will be displayed? There will be some pixels, and that pixels will be having let's say a black and white picture for convenience, or I have to go deep into RGB case. This is a black and white picture. Every pixel can have white or black, or it cannot have in between something. So, or it can have, let's say there are shades of white and black. Let's say there are 253 shades there. Total there is 255. There are 255 shades. White and black is one, and other 253 shades are there. So every pixel will be assigned as any value between 0 to 255. So every pixel, let's say, so what the image is a signal to you. What kind of signal it is? The independent variable will be the space. Why? Let's say I have this screen. This portion will have some this portion of the pixel present in this portion will give you some value. The pixel present in this portion will give you some value. The pixel present in this portion will give you some value. The pixel present in this portion will give you some value between this white or black. So it will convey some information. Each pixel will convey some information, and this pixel will be distributed in the space in the 2D plane, and that will create an image. You will see that as an image. So in this case, this signal is the signal is distributed throughout the space. So the independent variable here is not time, but if it is a video, then along with the space distribution there will be time distribution. That means let's say for a certain frame f1, this pixel p1 is giving some value, but whenever next frame comes for a video, number of frames comes after one after another. That's why if frame f2 comes, this p1 pixel will be holding some other value. So the value of a certain pixel will be dependent on time, and the value of the pixel will be distributed in space. So space and time both will be independent variable. But for our discussion, I will be confined only time dependent signal, because for control system we don't need space dependent signal. So impulse signals is time dependent, step signal, sinusoidal signal, and all that. So let me discuss one after other. Let me first discuss impulse signal. What is impulse signal? Okay. Impulse signal. Impulse signal. What is impulse signal? So impulse signals can be defined as ft equals to infinity at t equals to 0 and 0 for t not equals to 0, provided from minus infinity to plus infinity the area under the curve will be equals to 1. So how it is possible? So it is not look, the amplitude is infinite, so it cannot be some physical system. physical signal. But I can give you some intuitive idea about this. Let's say you have, this is time t equals to 0, and let's say you have some rectangular signal, okay, from t equals to minus a by 2 to t equals to a by 2, it is spread, and the amplitude of this is, y value is, let's say a. So what will be the area under the curve? Area under the curve will be this area. So a into this distance, this is a, and this distance is a by 2 plus a by 2, also a. So what will be the area? A square. Okay, so this is the case. Now instead of a, if this amplitude is, instead of a, if this amplitude is 1 by a, then the area will be a into 1 by a, that is 1. Okay. Now this a and this a is dependent to each other. That means if I change a, if I let's say decrease a, then the amplitude will increase because it is 1 by a, and the width will decrease. Now I am, let's say the a value is 2, okay, so let's say a value is 2. What will be the signal? The signal will look like this. This is y, okay, a value is 2, so a by 2 will be 1, so 1, let me draw it a bit further, 1, and this is minus 1, minus a by 2, and the signal will, the amplitude will be 2, that means half. If this is, again this is 1, then the amplitude will be half. So this will be the signal. Now if instead of a equals to 2, if I make it a equals to 1, what will happen? Then the time a by 2 will be 1 by 2, that means somewhat here, somewhere here, and it will be 1 by a will be 1. So the signal will look like this. Now if I keep on decreasing the value of a, then it will keep on shrinking and the amplitude will keep on increasing. Now at a certain point, let's say a equals to 0, at a certain point, let's say a equals to 0, what will be the width of the system, width of the signal? The width of the signal will be a itself, that means 0, and the amplitude of the signal will be 1 by a, that means ideally infinity. So I can, this is a mathematical representation. Now what is practical significance of impulse? Let's say you have a high amount of voltage just acting on a circuit just for a fraction of second, high amount of voltage acting for a fraction of second, that will be called as impulse. Okay, let's say in cricket game, let's say bowler has bowled, so the batsman hit the ball, the point of contact of the bat and the ball is some point, a millisecond, some fraction of some milliseconds. Okay, so time taken will be so much less, but the force will be high. That's why that is called impulse of the bat on the ball. Okay, this is the idea. Mathematically, ideally speaking, this is the representation, provided this area must be, look, in this area half into 1, half into 2 will be 1, look here, 1 into 1 will be 1, a into 1 by a will be 1, the area must be 1. So this is impulse signal. In control system, when we actually use this, okay, in control system we use this at denoting the natural response. I will talk about natural response a bit later. That means in let's say in, I guess in time domain analysis I will discuss about that. Okay, so what is the significance of impulse signal? Significance of impulse signals is a large amount of information or a large amount of signal. That means if it is a voltage signal, a large amount of voltage. If it is a current signal, a large amount of current acting on a point or acting in a terminal for a very short amount of time, short period of time. Ideally 0, and the large amount of voltage or current will be ideally infinity. Okay, so this is impulse signal. Now there is a discrete portion of this. Okay, impulse signal, how I am going to represent this graphically? This is time t, and this is time t equals to 0. This is called as impulse signal. So impulse signal ft is denoted by delta t. It is called Dirac delta. It is named after the scientist Dirac. So instead of writing it as ft, I am writing it as delta t. Delta t means, and again this will be also delta t. Delta t means the impulse response, impulse signal. Now what happens is, at time, this is the time scale, at time t equals to 0, at time t equals to 0, the amplitude is towards infinity. I cannot show the point of infinity here, that is why I am giving one arrow. This is not the axis, this is the arrow. This is an arrow indicating that this line is going towards infinity. And what is this one here? This one is the area of the signal. Now if I write delta t, then obviously you will know as impulse signal, and impulse signal having area as 1 equals to 0. Okay, if I give you 2 delta t, that means what will happen? Look at the integration. This integration will give you the area under the curve. So look at the integration. If instead of delta t it is 2 delta t, then obviously this 2 will come out and the area will be 2. So this will look like this. The same thing, it will go towards infinity, but the area will be 2. So the coefficient of delta t will give you the area of the area under the curve. Okay, area under the curve. And what is the Laplace transform of this signal? Laplace transform of delta t is 1. Why it is 1? I am not going to derive it here because it is some concept from signals and systems, and I do not want to go deep into the concept of signals and systems. So you can easily derive using the Laplace transform formula. The Laplace transform formula is like this: minus infinity to infinity ft e to the power minus st dt, or you can also call it as 0 minus. Why I am calling it as 0 minus? Okay, this is Laplace transform of ft. Why I am calling it as 0 minus? Because look at here, at t equals to 0, okay, let me draw the, this is axis now, okay, let me draw the rectangular function, here a by 2, here a by 2. Now I said that bilateral Laplace transform will have minus infinity to infinity, there is no problem. But in case of control system, I said that we trigger the system at a certain instant, and from that instant we call it as t equals to 0.0 instant, and then we start analyzing the system. So I can convert this Laplace transform to a unilateral Laplace transform, that is 0 to infinity unilateral Laplace transform. That is why we do not consider minus infinity, we consider as we are dealing with practical systems. Okay, but what happened in case of impulse signal? In case of impulse signal, let's say for this rectangular signal, if I start analyzing, start converting this from t equals to 0, then total signal will not be covered, but rather the positive half of the signal will be covered. Okay, positive half of the signal will be covered. Now if A tends to 0, then this signal can be called as a impulse signal itself. So again half of the portion will be analyzed, but not the other half, not the left half of the portion will not be analyzed. That's why we call it as to be t equals to 0 minus. Why t equals to 0 minus? Because ideally at t equals to 0 this impulse present. Okay, at t equals to 0 itself the impulse is present at t equals to 0 itself, but practically this is not the scenario. So there can be a little amount of time before t equals to 0 and after t equals to 0 where the signal is present. So to consider the before t equals to 0, we consider is t equals to 0 minus. We start analyzing from t equals to 0 minus, but we don't need to analyze t equals to minus infinity. From t equals to minus infinity we don't need to analyze, because what was happening before something, I don't bother, because my system will not be responsible for that input, because my system is triggered at this point at t equals to 0. This point is called t equals to 0. So what was there before t equals to 0 or t equals to at t equals to minus infinity is not my concern. I am starting analyzing t equals from t equals to 0. Now at t equals to 0, if there is considered to be an impulse, then that impulse will spread over a certain area. Like ideally it is 0, but practically it cannot be 0. The time scale cannot be 0. The time span cannot be 0 practically. That's why to consider there is a time span, we will consider t equals to 0 minus to t equals to 0 plus there is present an impulse. So to consider to have the total impulse signal within the limit of the integration, we consider as 0 minus to infinity. Okay, so using this formula we can easily calculate this signal. Okay, I hope this is clear to you, and the time is over. So only impulse signal is being discussed here. I don't want to derive this actually Laplace transform, but okay. Now there is another concept called unit impulse. What is unit impulse? It's nothing. Unit impulse means the area under the curve will be unity. So in general an impulse signal can be represented like this only, this diagram only, at t equals to 0 a. So this signal will be represented mathematically as, this signal will be mathematically represented as a delta. A delta t can be drawn graphically like this. So what is unit impulse? Whenever this value of a will be 1, like that means this signal is called as unit impulse, delta t. Okay, only delta t is unit impulse. A delta t means unit impulse scaled with some term a. This a will denote the area under the curve. And again Laplace transform of a delta t will be nothing but a, and whenever a value is 1, it will be giving you 1. So what is an impulse signal? Impulse signal is mathematically defined as delta t is equals to infinity at t equals to 0 and 0 otherwise, and the area under the curve will be 1, or if it is unit impulse it will be 1, or it will be a. A can be called as amplitude of the signal, it not the amplitude. Okay, most of the cases a sin omega t, let's say a sin omega t or a e to the power I t is called as a is the amplitude of the signal, but for impulse signal the amplitude is infinity, not a. What a denotes is the area under the curve. Okay, for a delta t, a denotes area under the curve. It is an impulse signal. Whenever a is 1, that means a delta t converts to delta t itself, then that will be called as unit impulse. Unit impulse. Okay, so this is impulse signal. As the time is over, so I need to close this lecture here. The other signal will be discussed from next class onwards. Only two to three class will be needed for this discussion of signals. Okay, then we will go for some standard function and their Laplace transform in case of signals, and in case of some other functions that are that you are going to encounter in this course. Then we will go for time domain analysis. I hope this is clear to you, and this is impulse signal, and there tomorrow I will discuss about step signal, and if time permits then sinusoidal signal. And I will also discuss about ramp signal, exponential signal, not in this much detail, but I will discuss those things, because sometimes it may happen that this signal, those signals will also be helpful in case of analysis, but majorly we do not need those signals, rather we need only step signal, impulse signal and sinusoidal signal. Okay, then there will be a concept something like bounded input, bounded output, that is also a part from stability analysis of the system. This is called BIBO stability, bounded input bounded output system, but for analyzing the input we need to analyze the signal, and as I am discussing signals here, so what is bounded input, I am going to give you an idea. Okay, it is pretty simple, there is nothing to worry. I hope this is clear. This much for today's lecture. Thank you.